moving quickly, another handoff to Rankin. Rankin finds a hole, he's at the 30, makes it to the 20, he's got one man to beat. Rankin walks into the end zone. Into the backfield, Braden Wright looks over top, he's going to try to find a man, he's got Alec Tatum. Tatum bobbles it, but he's in the end zone. What a connection between Braden Wright and Alec Tatum. Handoff to Rankin, Rankin right up the middle, and he's in the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
That the views expressed in today's show do not reflect the views of KZLX, KNWT, or Northwest Missouri State University. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
And we saw pictures of the Newman gym. It was nice, but it was small. It was small, and even here at Northwest, it's a little bit of a small arena. Theirs was a lot smaller than ours here at Northwest. So
capacity-wise, it's probably close to Northwest. Actually, probably not because we have the baselines. The baselines,
the
but
thing that's really only difference. Yeah,
we have a higher ceiling at Bearcat Arena, and that was a very much compacted.
What
arena.
That gym is, what I've heard gyms like that, they're like a shooter's gym. The small helps shooters because the depth perception, like you say.
When we get to the men's game,
exactly.
it'll make a lot of sense.
But honestly, in the women's games too, someone that's really kind of been struggling this season has been Jalen Haggard, and she performed last night. She shot
4 for 8 from 3.
Exactly, 58% from behind the 3-point line. Hit a big 3 in that double overtime. Was essentially the basket that got the win when you really look at the final score breakdown. But Newman's an interesting place because being from the Wichita State's obviously the school there. So it's kind of an odd Division II university because it's the second school in the same city, which is kind of an odd thing. But that's a team that I know recruiting-wise in the upcoming years, now that they're Division II, it could be fun in the MIAA. And
they haven't – both the men's and women's teams, when you look at the standings, they haven't been terrible this year. They're better than the bottom. They're kind of there in the middle on both sides. So a good start for them joining the MIAA, which really in every sport, it's known around Division II. It's one of the toughest conferences to be in. So to join the MIAA, you don't always join it and have immediate success. It's like other schools going from D2 to D1, it takes a little bit to build up.
We've seen firsthand Lindenwood and Lincoln both came in, and now one of those teams isn't even in the MIAA anymore. Lindenwood bowed out and
then made the playoffs in football.
And yeah, it just showed you how tough it is in the MIAA, where they weren't even sniffing the playoffs while they were here. Go to the GLVC, and they win the conference, made the playoffs.
Again, this Northwest women's team with a 70-67 victory in double overtime. And at the end of regulation, it was 54-54. So still good defensive play, a little bit of a struggle on offense. We've seen that be the issue for the women's team this year. First overtime, both teams scored 5 points. So we head to a second overtime. Where in that second overtime, Northwest won 11-8. To end up with the 70-67 victory. You look at Northwest led in scoring by Mallory McConkey, and since her return after being injured and out for most of the early part of the season, it has really been an impact player coming in and keeping this team rolling in terms of keeping them in games sometimes with Kendi Eaton out and Jalen Haggard struggling a little bit.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the role they wanted her to step into. Last year, that was really, she was the leader of this team. And despite Kendi Eaton leading in scoring, Mallory was still one of the leading role players on this team. And she's showing you right now that, she enjoys this role. And if she has to step up and be the leading scorer, then she's going to do it. But at the same time, I feel like this was a very good team win overall. Overtime games kind of find a new identity in your team. Do you have enough energy to outlast the other team and go out and get key points in the late stretch? Jalen Haggard with 12, Kendi with 10, even though, she didn't shoot the best, she still had 10 points. And they really just had everybody across the board score except for 2 players.
Well, and you look at someone like Kendi, leading scorer for this team before she was out the last couple of games, comes in, only plays 18 minutes, and with 50 minutes total played in this game, only plays 18. So clearly kind of just working her slowly back into the rotation. Normally a starter, this time coming off the bench. Was 4 for 13, 0 for 5 from 3, but again, those 10 points. So a solid return for her to just get back in and help her team get that double overtime win.
Yeah, and obviously, you look at her stat line, she did struggle shooting, but that's going to be a given coming back off of an injury where she's, been out for a while. So they're definitely going to, extend her minutes moving forward, and hopefully, she gets back on track and back putting the ball in the basket.
Well, what a tough game to get thrown into. I mean, they always say like how quick you can get out of shape, and then to go in and play your first game back on the road in double overtime, that's just the worst possible scenario you can think coming back from an injury. Like saying, geez, this game won't end. I can't feel my legs. Like it's just, they always say that, how quick you get out of shape, and boy, that must have been tough.
Well, and to mention it was a knee injury.
Exactly.
She's wearing a knee brace, and then you got to run extra minutes. So, yeah, for sure, this, like I said, this is a true test for them. They shot the ball a lot. And there were 67 total shots from this Bearcat team. Now, granted, double overtime really adds on to that. So
30,
it goes up.
31 threes.
Exactly.
Shot from this
so,
team.
I mean, but they also had 31 bench points. So I think that helped amazingly. I mean, that's where what I was talking about, how they have a lot of players across the board except for 2 score. That really is essential if you're going to outlast somebody in a long game like that. You've got to have players come in those trash minutes, at the ends of quarters, and come out and play good basketball.
Well, and a very balanced attack from this Northwest team. Again, McConkey with 13, but then Jalen Haggard had 12, Kendi Eaton with 10, Jana Green with 9 off the bench, Kylie Coleman 9, Peyton Rao 8. So everyone got involved in this, and it was a good win for them to get a little bit of momentum. And I still think the only thing you look at is just the shooting numbers. They improved a little bit, but if you hit a couple more shots, again, 26 for 67 from the field, 9 for 31 from 3, you hit a couple more shots, it's just, again, it's that 60-point number in regulation, 54 in regulation here. If they can just find a couple more of those shots to fall, maybe improve that percentage to 40 to 42%, they're going to be in a lot better shape when you go play someone like Central Oklahoma. You turn around now, have to go play the number 2 team in the MIAA.
Yeah, well, and this is also going to be a test that they want to have. They had their stretch here recently where they were playing the top of the MIAA, and to say that they were going to get a break is not true, because, they're going to go into this back half, have 1 or 2 games where they should be able to compete pretty good. But other than that, they're going to have to fight, and they're going to have to play some tough games. But that attests to the MIAA, and that attests to why it's so tough to get to Kansas City. So,
and there's like 6 teams all within like a game of each other.
We'll look at those standings right now. Central Missouri at the top at 10-2. Misspoke a little bit earlier. Nebraska Kearney this last weekend moved up into the 2nd spot at 8-2. Central Oklahoma back to that 3rd spot now at 9-3 in conference. Fort Hays State 7-3. Emporia State 7-3. Pittsburgh State 7-3. Then you go to Missouri Western at 6-4, which should be good for 6th. 5th in the MIAA is only good for 7th this year. Washburn at 5-5, Northwest Missouri at 4-6, and Newman at 4-8. Right now, those are your 10 teams that, if the season ended today, would make it to Kansas City. On the outside looking in right now, Missouri Southern 3-7, Northeastern State 3-9, Rogers State 1-11, and Lincoln has not won a game in conference yet. And you look at the women's schedule the rest of the season, they've got some of those tough games. Again, Central Oklahoma, Central Missouri still on the schedule, Pittsburgh State on the schedule twice, a 3-loss team in conference, another battle with Missouri Western and Washburn as well. Then you've also got 2 games against Missouri Southern, another game against Lincoln. So 3 should-win games on the schedule, and then if they keep trending in the way they have over the last couple of games, you go back to the Fort Hays State game, leading at halftime, played really well there. Now, you've got Kendi Eaton back, and you get the win here. You go pick off a couple of those. They're looking good to at least make a run to Kansas City. Andrew is already well on his way.
Probably already in Nebraska.
Probably. for.
He's tuning in right now, though.
That's good. So we've got a lot of his takes coming up a little bit later. He made sure to send me all of those. So
good.
We can talk about. I had to get.
That's fair.
We got 3 Cowboys fans in here. I had to get some Chiefs fan.
We're just gonna
stuff
go
in
silent
here.
throughout the rest of the show.
That's gonna be like 2 hours of me carrying this.
We'll just all leave, and Jacob can sit here and talk about the Chiefs.
There's not much for us to talk about on Super Bowl Sunday. It's another Super Bowl for us.
Hey, I got my picks for you. I'm ready to go.
But first, we started with, you go back to Monday with my show, and then I'm sure both Austin and Nolan talked about it on Tuesday, and then Day-to-Day Picks yesterday had a great tribute episode that I think they have that up on the podcast edition. It's one
podcast edition. I know Andrew tweeted it out, and I also retweeted that tweet. So, I mean, one of our Twitters, you can find it, is a very emotional show, but especially if you were a Kobe
I don't want to
fan.
go back and listen to it.
I went back and listened to it and teared up a little bit. Is definitely worth the listen.
But you go back to Sunday, kind of right around lunchtime is when the news first broke that Kobe Bryant had died in a helicopter crash in the Los Angeles area, and the whole sports world just stopped. And then very quickly later, the whole world basically just stopped because of we've spent all week talking about it, but just the impact of Kobe Bryant. But then throughout the rest of the day, you learn that they originally thought it was 5, then it gets increased to 9 victims. You learn his daughter Gianna was on the plane as well, and then the other families there as well. So everyone impacted, and it's just been, not only for basketball fans but for sports fans, it's been a tough week, just because Kobe impacted and was the role model for so many different people.
Yeah, and you said felt like the whole world stopped. I mean, as soon as I saw the TMZ article, I was like, no, this can't be real. Like, Kobe. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be living in a world without Kobe Bryant, and it's still like every day I wake up, it still doesn't feel real. Like, honestly, it just doesn't.
He seems like a guy that you thought was just going to live forever. Like
you
expected him to be on a court side of a game every week, of an NBA game every week.
Or like,
you just expected him to be there.
Or like Shaq said on TNT, him and Kobe were going to be in a nursing home at 80 years old, saying Shaq would be like, I got 4, and Kobe's like, I got 5. And,
exactly.
If we wouldn't have broken up, we would have got 10.
Yeah.
And
and the tributes all week have been what has been really special, and I think this basically just came out is they've now been making plans at the All-Star game. They're changing the format of it. It's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Odd rules.
I think as of about 30 minutes ago, this came out that Team LeBron will wear number 2, and Team Giannis will wear number 24 at the All-Star game. That's something that's been all around social media that people wanted to see, and it's now being reported that that's what the NBA will do.
That's nice because, like, I think we've seen, like, one team wears number 8, one team wears number 24. You said Team LeBron's wearing number 2. That was Gianna's number. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice that they're not just doing a Kobe tribute, but they're also, tributing Gianna as well, who is just starting out her basketball career.
With the way the All-Star game will work, it took me a couple reads to fully kind of figure out what they're doing, but the first 3 quarters will be essentially played like normal. In the winner of each individual quarter, they're setting it up where $100,000 will go to different charities through each quarter, and then the final quarter, there is no clock. They set a target score based on whatever the current score is, and the first team to get there wins the All-Star game, but that target score is whatever the leading team's third quarter total is plus 24 to honor Kobe Bryant. So if it's 100 to 95, then whoever gets to 124 points first will win the game. We know the All-Star game, it will be a lot higher than 100 at the end of the third quarter, but it'll be a fourth quarter played to 24 points basically.
It's really nice because you usually in pickup games, I've seen all over Twitter is like we're not playing to 21 anymore. We're playing to 24, and so it's nice to kind of have that aspect of it. Is usually games go to 21, now they're playing for 24. It's a very nice gesture by the NBA.
And then just the tributes throughout the week as well. You that night, and still while information was coming in, there were NBA games on the schedule, and they went ahead and played them. And then you very quickly saw the 24-second shot clock violations, the 8-second backcourt violations to start games, and there were different variations of what team would do what, but basically both teams honoring Kobe at the start of pretty much every game that Sunday and then into Monday and Tuesday as well.
Yeah, and it's also the parallels between, like, it's also like I've seen so many different like stats that were like Kobe's, like Trae Young got the first 45-point double-double without taking like 25 shots or something like that since Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Against the Wizards.
It was
too,
against the
so
Wizards, and also Devin Booker becoming the youngest player to get 7,000 points since Kobe Bryant. It's like everything is really weird, but everything has just been revolving around Kobe this week, and it's like it's all coincidence, but I mean, it's really weird.
And you go and you look in some of the coincidences as well. Yeah, you saw the stat lines from some of the games on Sunday, but just recently you go to Division II. I saw this today. Truman State and Rockhurst were playing each other, and Truman State beat Rockhurst 81-60.
Wow.
And if you aren't aware of those numbers, 81, Kobe's 81-point game, 60, the amount he scored on the final night of his career. And so, and that night, I think it was the coach that for Truman State that tweeted this out, but all of the coaching staff were wearing Kobe shoes. And then, and like there was, and then the 81-60 score. So just stuff like that, and
it's also
all week long.
One of the coolest like tribute things that I've actually seen so far was Boston. I believe it was the other night, they had a whole video, and it's like they hated this man. Like, it's like that's the guy that beat their super team when he had no business of doing it, and they played this video about him with all of these Celtics, with Paul Pierce and all of these guys, and I thought that was really, really cool with the rivalry. That's probably the most heated rivalry in all of sports, and they were showing the respect, saying this guy was something different and will be etched in history. They said he'll be etched in history in this rivalry between.
A special edition of Off My Rocker, where it's all about the Super Bowl. Crazy things we think could happen.
Wait,
in this
really?
game.
No, what I thought it was about college basketball.
Well,
That has been the case.
I mean,
several
you
times.
do remember that I did that one day where just saying college basketball. That was my Off My Rocker.
It's true.
And
So far,
and
it's
like
still-
that might have been the only one this year that is actually
That's gonna
100%
get right.
been right. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of that one. So we'll start. Who should we start? Who wants to go first? Sam?
I guess
It's been a while since we've heard one from you, so
Yeah.
so why don't we kick it off with Sam?
All right, so Miami, the Super Bowl, Chiefs.
Thanks, Sam.
Way
Off
to
my
set
rocker.
the scene.
The Super Bowl will be
Okay.
moved from Miami to Kansas City.
No,
That would be one.
that would be crazy. But the Chiefs, they go up 21-0 in the first half, just before halftime, just before Shakira and Jennifer Lopez about to take the stage. Lights go out. Just like in the Superdome.
wow.
Everybody, close your eyes.
Just
and
like in the
picture
Superdome.
this.
Lights go out. Lights go out for about 30 minutes. Come back on. They play the rest of the first half. Maybe the 49ers get a score. But in that second half, the 49ers come roaring back. Raheem Mostert leads them to a 41-34 victory, wins the Super Bowl MVP, and San Francisco gets their 6th Super Bowl.
Okay, get redemption on the whole light
And
thing.
they get redemption on the power outage.
I love that.
I like how Sam my first reaction is I like how Sam's Off My Rocker take completely goes against his Super Bowl pick. So
true.
there's that.
I'm going to be right one way or another.
Well, no, because this isn't happening. It won't happen like that. The lights will stay on.
Betting the lights will.
They'll be on.
I'm sure San Francisco will be like, if those lights turn off.
Question: can this be about any part of the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Well, Nolan's going last.
I guess so. I think
I like the light redemption.
I like the story, but no, we're not going to have a second one of those.
I know you would hate it because the 49ers win.
It's more, I don't think the lights are going to go out for a second time.
Yeah, there's no way that'll happen again.
Like
I love that.
They probably now have a whole
Probably
truck,
got 3 backup generators.
that and a
for
whole
every
truck
light.
of equipment, and then since that happened, 30 employees that their job is just watch the lights, just make sure they don't go out, and just pay attention, be ready.
Right.
That ain't it. It's not happening.
Oh yeah, no way.
But I like the story.
Thank you. I am a
Really
storyteller.
set the scene.
I
Really
did.
set the scene. Respect that.
Hold on. Andrew wants me to let everyone
Okay,
know
here we
that
go.
Sam is off his rocker because Hard Rock Stadium runs on Fitzmagic and not electricity.
That is also very accurate.
So, and the Chiefs are running with that right now. So that's another good thing for Kansas City.
Speaking of, Ryan Fitzpatrick announced he will be back for the 2020 season.
With what team though?
Doesn't matter.
He's going to.
It really doesn't.
What he'll do is he'll mess up a season for one team and help another team on the way to a 5-11 season for whoever
Backup
he
for
plays
Patrick
for.
Mahomes. What about that?
I'd be fine with that.
I'm sure you would. All right.
So who's next?
Austin.
All right. So I've talked about Jimmy G and how I think he'll win MVP and get the win. I think his stats are crazy. I think he goes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and outperforms Mahomes with more yards and more touchdowns. He about muted
Do it. Do it.
Nah. This segment's meant for making
More
you
yards, more touchdowns than Mahomes. And Nolan actually brought up a really good point in backing me up. It's yeah, he hasn't played, but he's been there behind the greatest to ever play in this game, Tom Brady. Mahomes has had no experience, no mentorship for someone who's played in this other than Andy Reid.
Alex Smith was on the team that lost to the Baltimore Ravens.
Right. But
He
Tom
wasn't the
Brady's
starter,
won
but-
6 with Jimmy G sitting behind him. So I think Jimmy G has more yards, more touchdowns than Mahomes, and it's a crazy amount.
All right.
You're off your
You're
Yeah,
off your
no.
rocker.
No.
I mean,
I,
that's fine.
If
Hey,
it gets to
I
the point
appreciate you
Garoppolo may win
supporting
the
yourself.
game, they may win the game. He may win the game for the 49ers, but I think even if the 49ers win in the quarterback matchup, Mahomes is the better quarterback.
It's fine.
All right.
So
you said Andrew and yours was the
well,
same.
so I had one all prepared, ready to go, and then Andrew texted me his, and they're fairly identical. So we're just going to combine our two.
Great.
So he doesn't have to send me another one. He came in with the background information. I was going to go a little bit crazier with mine, but we'll combine the two.
All right.
So his lead in is the highest scoring Super Bowl was Super Bowl 24 in 1995 between the 49ers and the Chargers. 75 points were scored. The 49ers beat the Chargers 49-26. That record is broken. This is the highest scoring Super Bowl in history. He has Chiefs 42-38 to get there, that being 80. I was going to go even crazier, and since this is off my rocker, say 100 points is scored in the Super Bowl.
So it truly
So a
is
remake
it truly
of
is
the LA and
Kansas City,
Yes,
like Nolan said.
that is my combining the two.
It's
Andrew
like I knew
Andrew
what he was gonna say.
Andrew didn't go that crazy. He's got it at 80. I think I don't
Gonna
even
reel it
I don't
back?
think it's personally I don't think it's off my rocker to say this is the highest scoring Super Bowl ever.
It's
so
not.
that's why
No,
I
it's
went a
not.
little. That's why I went a little
That's
bit
when you
more
went
and
crazy,
said
yeah.
you get like a 54-51 game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
off your rocker.
That's off your rocker. That's not happening.
No,
But
that's
highest
not
scoring
happening.
Let's
Super Bowl.
let's be honest though. Wouldn't that be a ton of fun?
Oh yeah,
It'd be the
a ton of-
highest rated Super Bowl of all time.
It'd be very fun. Sadly, it's just not going to happen.
It'd be the greatest Super Bowl ever.
Nolan.
Nolan, the floor is yours.
I think the 100 points is not going to happen. I Definitely could see the. I mean, it's not crazy to think that 80 points is going to be scored in this game, but I'm sticking true to myself, and I'm taking the under still. So you're off your rocker for it.
Didn't you say your score was 38-17?
Yeah.
It's 55 points. That's over.
I thought it was 56 and a half.
40,
No, that was
54.
56 was the Patriots-Rams one that you looked up.
I know.
Because I thought about that too. I was like,
He said that.
thinking of
You know, I gave him the benefit
So
of the
did
doubt,
I.
and I was just like, he messed up. He meant 35-17. Give him
Yeah.
52, and then he just said it again. I'm like, no, Nolan, that's not how math works.
You were thinking of the Rams-Patriots ones that you looked up. That's what it was. Yeah.
Well, I'm done.
know where
You
you
know
were
what?
at.
You're fine. You're on track. 80
knew where-
points. Whatever.
Floor is yours, Nolan.
What do you mean?
You still got to
You're
give
off.
I know.
rocker.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I just thought of this. Okay.
Oh, boy. He just thought of this word.
No.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be... You're going to look at me and think I'm stupid. Anyway. Jennifer Lopez and... and
And Shakira?
And Shakira?
Jennifer Lopez and Shakira will be on the field
Spit it out.
longer than Jimmy G in the offense will.
Oh, wow.